So once again, we extend a heartfelt greeting to all our esteemed guests joining from various corners of the globe for concluding seminar of the current series. It's our great pleasure to welcome you all to the 13th seminar in the third edition of the seminar series on the digital future for business and society, emerging perspective on the metaverse. I, Dr. Vinod Kumar from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, and Dr. Anabel Gutierrez from Royal Holloway, University of London, are truly honored and privileged to lead this exciting event as moderators. This seminar series is hosted jointly by Professor Yogesh Dwivedi, who is Professor of Digital Marketing and Innovations and Founding Director of the Digital Future for Sustainable Business and Society Research Group at School of Management, Swansea University, Wales, UK. Next we have Dr. Laurie Hughes. He is Senior Lecturer within Strategic Operation Group and founding member of the Digital Future for Business, Sustainable Business and Society Research Group at School of Management, Swansea University, Wales, UK. And we also have Professor Ramakrishnan Raman. He has been promoted as Vice Chancellor, Symbiosis International Deemed University. Our entire seminar series is jointly supported by Digital Marketing and Analytics, SIG, Academy of Marketing, Green Nobel, IAE, Graduate School of Management, Green Nobel, and P School of the University of Green Nobel, Alps. The E-Business and E-Government SIG, British Academy of Management, the UK Academy for Information System, UK AIS. Now, I'd like to share very briefly about this seminar series. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, and the Metaverse undoubtedly offer transformative potential for the augmentation and potential replacement of human performed tasks and activities within a wide range of industrial, intellectual, and social applications. The impact and widespread adoption of these technologies is likely to be transformational within sectors ranging from agriculture, finance, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, supply chain, logistics, and utilities. This seminar series on the digital future for business and society, emerging perspective in the metaverse, will present various perspectives from a number of leading expert speakers to highlight the opportunities and challenges posed by the rapid emergence of the metaverse. The seminar series will not only offer a timely and thought-provoking insight to the metaverse, but also its impact on the future of business, management, and societal factors impacted by growth, direction, and widespread adoption of this new immersive technology. Today, we are incredibly fortunate to have the esteemed presence of Professor Neeraj Pandey, an eminent researcher who will grace the event with his insights on the topic monetizing metaverse opportunities and way forward. To tell you something about our speaker of the day, Professor Neeraj Pandey is Professor of Marketing area at Indian Institute of Management, Mumbai. He did his postdoctorate at Johns Hopkins University, USA, in the area of healthcare pricing. His research has appeared in journals like Australasian Marketing Journal, International Journal of Information Management, International Marketing Review, Journal of Business Research, Journal of Consumer Marketing, Marketing Intelligence and Planning, Psychology and Marketing, and many more. He has done consulting assignments for various companies including Dr. Reddy's Laboratory, BPCL, ONGC, HPCL, and MRF, and many more other companies as well. His research interests are pricing, digital marketing, B2B marketing, and service marketing. A very warm welcome to you, Professor Neeraj Pandey. So without any further ado, I kindly request you to take over and address our esteemed audience for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vinod Kumar. And I really thank Swansea University and SIBM-Pune for hosting this conference, hosting this talk. And I'm also thankful to Professor Yogesh Dwivedi, who is the host for this talk. And so today the topic is monetizing metaverse, which is a very, very interesting topic. And as all we know that metaverse is going through a lot of changes. And initially there's a lot of hype around metaverse, a lot of companies invested into it. And the hype started with Facebook changing the name of metaverse as changing the name of Facebook as Meta on October 2021, almost 2 years back. And they invested a lot of money into this, and then the things started. So, and in between there's a lull period. Again, it is catching up, and again, a lot of research is happening. So the central theme that I'm going to discuss today is that how companies, how firms can monetize metaverse. And also with the related theme is that how the researchers how the scholars who are working this domain of AI, ML, or metaverse, blockchain, I mean, how they can use this as a dimension to explore further who are working in this domain. Right? So the talk is more from a practitioner's perspective, but also related to the research. That what are the research dimensions within this? So for the beginners in metaverse, all of us know, for most of us in knowing, but for anybody who is just to build the context, so it is a 3D virtual world. I mean, unlike other 2D, for example, right now we are as we talk, it is a 2D, but metaverse is a 3D world, and it is a combination of physical and virtual world, and it is trying to mimic the real world. Though at the outset there's no real 100% metaverse right now, but a lot of companies they are trying to get as closer to as reality. It's a totally immersive co-experience, right? And we use a lot of XRs, which are X, where it is maybe VR or AR to get the feel of a real world. And there's a lot of scope of if you look from as a scholarly perspective, there's a lot of scope of branding. And so, why, for example, recently we presented a paper in Italy that what are the key drivers for branding on a metaverse? What are the drivers and what are the and there are a lot of companies which are investing. For example, Google parent company Alphabet has invested in, Coca-Cola has invested, Meta, Microsoft, Nike, Nvidia, and many. So these are big investments. And when we say big investment, it means that these companies are investing millions and billions of dollars. It means that there is a lot of potential within this. So this reflects the potential of metaverse as a platform, as a growing platform. And you see that a lot of monetization is happening around branding. So I know a lot of Indian companies which have launched their brand on metaverse. So they have launched virtually. They've also launched in the metaverse. Right? So everybody wants to be there as a part, take the part of the cake. For example, there are three leading companies in a particular industry. If two of them they are in the metaverse, third cannot ignore to be not in the metaverse. So there's a lot of catching up that is happening on the metaverse because the leaders are there. So other followers are also going on the metaverse. There's a lot of as we discussed, we talk about NFT. The metaverse also gives you a lot of power of experimentation. At a very low cost, you are able to really get into as good as like a real world, where you get a lot of feedback from the user community. You also get a lot of feedback about the user itself. You get a lot of insight about the user because there are different segment of users which are there in the metaverse, and you also get immediate feedback about the product or the service that you are running on the metaverse. I mean, as you all know that gaming is a big industry in the metaverse, right? And there's a lot of businesses which have invested into Roblox. Roblox is one of the most famous one. I mean, a lot of e-commerce companies have invested, and it is also giving an access to the global audience. So a lot of companies from UK, India, China, they're also there in the metaverse, and it is giving access to the North American markets, European market, and you see there's a lot of sales of virtual goods. So if you take last year, the sales was around 2 billion plus sales happened only in the virtual goods. Right? So people who went to gaming and they bought gears, they bought costumes, they bought points. Right? So there's a lot of commerce which is happening, and we call it a meta commerce that happens, and we talk as we go forward. And there can be a lot of scope for personalization because it is as we do. So whatever we are doing in a physical world. So whatever the companies from a marketing perspective, from a branding perspective, they're doing in a physical world, all of that is possible in a meta world. And that can be done at a very low price, at a very low percentage of price that we are investing into a physical world or in a virtual world today. But again, as every opportunity, there will be some challenges. So definitely there's a 3D data. This is not a 2D data. So a lot of data is going for the users. So who is the owner of their data? Where the server of the data should be there? So those are the questions that are being taken up by the policymakers, by the practitioners, right? And that is also having an impact on how much should be social, how much should be technological. So those things are there. The other aspect is that it is also creating a digital divide. So people who have got access to maybe funds or resources to have those hardware and softwares, they're able to reap the benefits. Because this is, as of now, the metaverse is slightly a costly software piece, meaning there's a requirement of hardware and software. It has not the cost has not reduced, and that is also an opportunity to work for miniaturization and for new software and new hardware. And there are concerns around mental health and data privacy. So these are the challenges that we see. Now we come to the core topic of today, which is monetization. 2030, it is the last year data by the Bloomberg. It is slated to be industry of 678 billion. So it will become soon a 1 trillion industry, and that is why none of the companies, larger companies, be it Alphabet, be it Meta or Amazon, everybody is Microsoft, everybody is invested into it, and they are betting on it, and they are trying to reap benefit out of it. And it is a next generation technology to augmented reality. If you look what is before the metaverse, it is augmented reality, and the metaverse is next level to what is there in the augmented reality. And there's a lot of scope as we talk of monetize that platform in terms of that kind of anonymity it provides. So if I want to go and meet Dr. Kumar in a very anonymous manner, so we can meet into as an avatar, and then fine. So there's a lot of anonymity, and that can be packaged rightly, and that can be monetized. Similarly, data. If you look in the physical world today, and if you take companies like Geo as an example, or company like Netflix as an example. So these companies, they are trying to get data of the users, and through the user data, they have built a very good platform where they can monetize that. So data is power, already we have heard. So there's a lot of scope of monetization, and as we talk about attribution is a new thing, which is really catching about the metaverse, and we'll talk more about the attribution. Fear of missing out is a phenomena, and that is making people join. The rival companies are joining because their competitors have joined, right? And there's a lot of play of the intellectual property, which we'll talk. So this is a paper by Dwivedi et al. From 2023, and talks about the touch points of monetization of metaverse. And so you can look at that. There's an audio aspect is there. There's a visual aspect which consists of the hardware of AR, VR, personal computers. So there's a lot of data points which are coming in terms of audio, visual, pictures, 3D, and how do we can use those for making data-driven stimuli so that we are able to influence the consumer decision-making process in a more positive manner. So these are the companies which have invested big time within Metaverse. Recently, in March 28, 31, there was a fashion week organized on Metaverse. There's a very famous Metaverse site called Decentraland. And Decentraland will have a lot of real estate sites where you can go buy flats, buy malls, buy shops in malls, and you can buy empty land spaces like we do in the real world. And you can, some of those spaces you can also curate. You can build gardens around that, you can build buildings around that, and then you can monetize also. So did a fashion week, and there are a lot of comments and a lot of news that came out of that, how it was monetized, and a lot of revenue was generated. Now we'll take the first piece. How do companies monetize? And as I said that, as I talk about from a firm perspective, there's also another piece to it, which is a research perspective. How it can be taken as a research dimension and can be explored further. So one of the unique advantages of metaverse is that it gives anonymity. So for example, I'm a celebrity, or say I'm an influencer. So I cannot publicly maybe reach, for example, I've got some medical issues, or there's some mental health issues. I cannot directly reach out to any of the physicians, because there is always a fear of privacy. So the metaverse is one platform where I can go into an avatar form, and the person on the other side will not know who am I. And I can go and give all the details of the problems that I have, the medical issues or any therapeutic issues that are there, and I can get a proper medication without the other person getting my identity, and which is a great piece of work. So this anonymity can be really leveraged in a very, very healthy, positive manner, right? Where you are able to cater to certain category of people, maybe including HNIs, high net individual, where you are trying to provide a service. Right? Similarly, there are a lot of mentoring and coachings that goes on today. If you look in real world, there's a coaching, there's a CEO coaching. So there are a lot of CEOs of the startup small and medium enterprises, which are getting coached by very, very senior entrepreneurs, senior counselors, coaches. But some of them, they're not very comfortable in revealing their identity. So they want to take coaching sessions. They want to take coaching on, say, how to manage time, how to manage stress, how to manage business, how to scale up the business. But at times they don't have that. Maybe they don't want to reveal the identity. So these are the platform where there's a lot of potential to monetize this kind of anonymity and build those kind of ecosystem where such services are provided. Similarly, there is a lot of publishing opportunities. If there are some topics you want to publish, and there can be a parallel like OTT platform, they were able to be very experimental in the content because they were given a free hand in content creation. And that is why you find a lot of new formats which are coming, right, within the OTT. Similarly, the metaverse is also one such platform which can be monetized. So anonymity is one lever which can be really leveraged very well by the metaverse, which is there's no literature on it till now. So there's one where there's a lot of scope of working on that. This also gives a lot of opportunity to a lot of companies to experiment new product, new services without exposing the brand name. So many companies, they do a lot of test marketing, but always the fear is that what if my brand is being revealed? So if the brand is being revealed, people within my category might copy my features. So this also gives a lot of scope to organizations to try out new formats. This also gives a lot of scope to consumers to try out new products, a lot of e-commerce product, gamings. There are new formats of gaming which they can try out. So this anonymity feature is really that can be leveraged by different firms to their advantage, and that can provide a lot of premium to the companies. So this is the first piece that I wanted to discuss. Now going to the second piece, which is another big piece, is the meta commerce. So we have in a virtual world, we have a social commerce, and Facebook has a big social commerce portfolio where they host a lot of small and medium enterprises, a lot of startups, and they sell their commerce there. Similarly, within metaverse also, there's a lot of scope for doing meta commerce. And the beauty of the Facebook, beauty of the metaverse is that it's a 3D platform. So being a 3D platform, and now the haptic interface has also come. So you can give a lot of good look and feel. So for example, I'm e-commerce, so I can give for apparel, people can go and try out the apparel, how it will look. If I'm buying a spectacles, I can go and try out how the spectacle will look on me. If I'm buying a suit, I can look at how to. So there are a lot of features like augmented product visualization feature, in-store navigation feature is there, virtual shopping assistants are there, and also these things is being can be integrated by in-app, mobile apps, which can give you a lot of opportunity for this meta commerce, and many new firms can join into it, and this is another big piece which can go. And there's a lot of FOMO as a research dimension. There's a lot of use of FOMO, fear of missing out. So if the 3 top players of the industry join, it also nudges other 7 players to join, because they don't want to miss out on a great opportunity. So I was talking to a very senior advertising professional, and she was sharing that one of the companies also launched on Metaverse, though they did a virtual launch on a social media, on a e-com platform, but they also did a Metaverse launch because the competitor has also done a Metaverse launch, and they also did that. So the companies don't want to miss out, and there are a lot of payment methods. Cryptocurrency is one of them. So as per the rule of the land, there are a lot of payment method which have been integrated there. So meta commerce is one big thing that can be monetized within the Metaverse platform. Now, data is another piece. Right? If you look in offline world, so what is happening in Metaverse is that whatever we are doing in physical world, we are trying to do the same thing on a Metaverse platform. But the way we are implementing is entirely different, because the ecosystem is different, the technology is different. So in a Metaverse platform, what is there that we are getting the data in a 3D format. And by 3D format means that we are able to see the person, his facial expression, his movement, the way he's reacting to things, the way he's preferring things. And as such, we are getting a lot of granular data about his behavior also. So we're getting a lot of behavioral data of the users which are there. So whatever X million people are there, we are getting those user data. Now, giving basis that user data, we create cohorts of data. So say there are 1 million people. So we say how many point million these people, they are very outgoing people. What are their orientation? What are their preferences? How many of them are very conservative? How many of them are very adventurous? So likewise, we build cohorts. And then these cohorts are being used for sending promotional content. Maybe a banner ad, maybe while I'm in the metaverse, I'm in the decentral land. Maybe there's a banner which is there, which is shown to me. Basis my segment, which is my cohort. Now, companies, what they're doing are they're also going one step ahead. So, for example, say I'm decentral land, and I have got my own database. So I know people who are visiting my platform, and I have the complete data of them. What is the time of their login? What they like, dislike? What is the reaction? What is the network? So all their social network I know. Now what I'm doing is that I'm tying up with other platform where these visitors are also going there. So what is happening is that I'm not only using my data, but I'm also using others' data. And since I'm using others' data also, so what I do is that I further enrich my segment. So my cohort is becoming much finer and finer. And because my cohort is becoming much finer and much better, I'm able to target my customers much better. So what happens if I am able to target my customers much better? I can charge a premium to my customers because you will see the CTR, what we call the click-through rate. So similarly in the metaverse, you will find the engagement levels. As we talk about the attribution model, we talk about the engagement levels. So those engagement levels will go up, and basis the engagement levels, we can charge a premium. So data, so there's a lot of scope of monetizing data in a metaverse platform. So as I said that, so choosing data partners, and those data partners which are giving complementary data. So what is happening is that we are able to triangulate those data. Like you see, you have a Facebook data, your WhatsApp data, and your Instagram data. So if you combine the WhatsApp data with the Facebook data with the Instagram data, which is the have a one ownership. So you are able to triangulate, and you are able to get much more qualified lead than as compared to you're having a single data point. So same thing can be done in a metaverse platform, where you can have a very strong cohort where you are getting a very good kind of a segmentation process. So this is the third piece that we talked about, the how can we monetize data. Now the fourth piece is the retail industry, and within retail industry there is a lot of play of luxury buying. So luxury buying is something where people try to try to be anonymous that what I am buying. And so it also gives a lot of scope for people who want to do luxury shopping without revealing that. And we can also do a lot of product trials. So for example, there are companies in the offline store, companies in the virtual world who want to, before they put the things in the store, they will always try to do a product trial. And after only a product trial, once they get a positive feedback from the customer, then everything is in place, then only they launch the product. So what will happen is that if you're able to incentivize properly, you will get a lot of user in a 3D format. And you'll also get the user's behavioral data, how they are reacting to a product, which can be very, very useful, and that can be leveraged by companies which are into the retailing sector. And we can also collect data using gamification. So this is happening in the 2D space. This can be done here also, where we try to put consumer in a gamified format, and we try to collect data which is of our requirement, and we incentivize the customer to play those games. So a lot of retail data can be taken through gamification also. There's also a lot of scope for monetization in the hospitality industry, and a lot of tour and tourism companies are doing it. So they are doing virtual tours of place. So say anybody wanted to visit a Niagara Fall, so entire Niagara Fall area in Buffalo, within the Buffalo city, is already mapped, and you can have a virtual tour. You can stop any place, you can spend the entire day there, spend a few hours, or maybe skip, and everything can be digitally stored. So particularly earlier, the services were there that if you flew from, say, Mumbai to Delhi, or you went and stayed in a hotel, or you went to, say, Disney park, So you cannot store the experience. You can go and have the experience. So the experience cannot be stored. But now with the metaverse, your experience can be stored. It can be branded. It can be converted into NFT. Right? So metaverse gives you a new opportunity where, which is maybe what we study in services. Some of them, fine, we can store that and we can as a memory, right? And then we can brand that. So there's a lot of scope again in the hospitality industry. NFTs, all of us know that NFTs, there's a lot of hype around NFTs where companies are creating their NFTs and they're monetizing their brand. And these are unique digital assets. So it is a non-fungible token, one of its own kind in the world. So people want to preserve them as a souvenir. And as you see on this is a paper by Dwivedi et al. And in 2023 in Psychology and Marketing. So it talks about what there's an ecosystem of creators, influencers, and buyers. So there's a group of people who will create that. There's a group of people who will try to influence, who will try to market that. What is the value of that? And then there are buyers within the ecosystem. Nike sold their digital sneakers as NFT. So there's a lot of art, collectibles, accessories, and if you look at category wise, the more the unique the category is, more the perceived value of the value is there, and basis the perceived value, the value of the NFT is there. So there's a lot of monetization as a spin-off effect of the branding, which the companies can try within the metaverse platform. Now, the latest within the metaverse platform has come a lot of haptic interface, so which will give you a sense of touch. So if I and you play a game, so you can really feel that how the games are being moved, right? And that makes the games very interactive. So, but only challenge with the haptic interface is that till now the cost is very high. So once the cost comes down, you will see the mass adoption of this. And once the mass adoption of haptic interfaces happen, you will see that the monetization in the metaverse will grow multifold. Because right now what is happening is that because of the high hardware cost and the high cost of this haptic interface, so that is why you find that it is not really it is picking that much. And you find that it's used in gaming, healthcare, theme parks. There are a lot of case studies, use cases, which can go through it and build around that. So what if the haptic interface is being taken at mass level? So what are the key drivers and barriers for consumers? So there's no literature on that, and there are a lot of researchers who can really work on that. Advertising is a big space, right? And in the metaverse, I know a lot of Indian companies, a lot of international companies. They're doing advertising in metaverse. So basically, what is happening with the companies is that companies moving where their consumers are moving. So if their consumers have moved to Second Life, if their consumers have moved to Roblox, if their consumers have moved to Fortnite, so the companies are also moving there. And as a result, you'll find that there are a lot of companies that are advertising on metaverse platform. For example, on a Decentraland, if you visit Decentraland, you'll find a lot of billboards. And those are very contextual billboards. So what billboards I will see, you will see a different billboard depending on your segment of customers. So for example, if you are a part of a game or you're part of any ecosystem, fine. If you open a refrigerator, if you like Coke or a Pepsi or other beverages, so you'll see a Coke bottle, and you will see there's a model who will be wearing a RO t-shirt or Nike shoes. So actually, these are advertisements which are very highly contextual. So while you are playing the game, you're seeing those Nike ads, and somewhere at your subconscious mind, it is affecting you as a consumer. So tomorrow, when you go to a shop that particular shoes, that is going to influence your buying patterns. So companies are very much inclined into contextual ads, and if you're able to give those contextual ads, it makes a lot of sense for companies to invest because they're able to see those effects. So there's a lot of power of experimentation that metaverse provides, and that also provides you a lot of scope for monetization, because this gives you uh, almost 2 million plus consumers which are engaged within the metaverse platforms, and you can see that how can you engage them into different event formats, different virtual layout formats, So there are a lot of consumer engagement platforms, maybe those already existing, or maybe you have developed, curated yourself, and you can engage customers and you can get their feedback. So what will happen is that companies, if they're successful, then they will try to use those kind of formats. If they're not really, if they see the consumer feedback is not really great, they might drop out of those formats. So this placement format, which we also call it ingredient marketing, is very going to get very popular, and there's a lot of scope for advertising firms which are working in metaverse to monetize that. So another very one of the increasing areas of research is industrial metaverse. So this is something like a digital twin. So digital twin, as of all of us know, that it is being used by a lot of warehouses, logistics firms, and within supply chains, where what you do is that for a production companies, so for a say a plant, you have a digital twin where you can see virtually what the processes are happening in a virtual world, and then you can control that. So in an industrial what is happening is that in industrial metaverse, it is a digital twin plus. So there you are seeing everything in 2-dimensional. Here you are able to see things in 3-dimensional, and you can use it for optimization. You can use it for training people. You can use it for virtual meeting, collaboration for new product and service development. And companies like Lenovo and Nvidia, they're using it. And there's a very good paper by Chetri in 2023, which you can refer to. And a lot of consulting firms are also giving a lot of consulting within the industrial metaverse space, where they're doing problem solving, and they're also doing training. So this is one piece which is yet not very much explored in the literature. So another growing area within metaverse from a research point of view and from a practice point of view is gamification in gamification. Meaning that if you look at metaverse, the gamification or the gaming industry is the fastest growing, largest revenue earner, and the most engaged, most highly engaged. So today, what companies are doing is that they are trying to create game within the games. So already there are gamers which are engaged within games. So how can you create a small game which seamlessly integrates with the current game, and where you are trying to get your data, which is the kind of data that you want, and you are also trying to incentivize the gamer who is playing, and you can monetize these games with in-game weapons, avatars, and vehicles, furniture. So there are a lot of scope for getting data, getting feedback, and also selling a lot of virtual inventory that can happen. So this is a GIG scope which is yet not explored in the literature. Then real estate, decentral land, as I said, Sandbox, Crypto Voxel. I mean, these are very popular sites, and which have been making good. They've been monetizing these real estate properties very well. And there are two kinds of property. One is a basic property, another is a developed property. So I might go and buy a property like this, where already the house, a garden is there, or we can buy a virtual land, and then can curate that, and then maybe try to monetize that. After the curation, we can create an event, we can organize some kind of virtual event, and then maybe a concert, maybe a get together, and then we can charge an admission fee for that, maybe a sponsorship, or might sell a virtual merchandise. So these are very popular methods of monetization, and there's a lot of papers around that. Now, this is the one piece which is a very growing piece within the metaverse. How do you build robust attribution model? So if you look at Facebook, Google Analytics, if you look at virtual world, so there are very strong attribution models. And these attribution models, basically, you'll find that there's last interaction model, first click attribution model, Facebook attribution model, and they have also a time decay attribution model. So they will try to tell you that what is the key trigger for engagement. If any advertisement is very successful, if any visual merchandise is selling, so what is the main trigger? From which website, or from which metaverse platform did they come? If they came from, say, Roblox, if they came from Sandbox, why we can't go to Sandbox and advertise that? So, but right now there's no robust attribution model. So there is a lot of scope of building that and monetizing that. Right? So if we know that, okay, this is the right attribution model, so if we can go to those metaverse site and then maybe advertise more. And we know that advertise is not working, so maybe we may not doing it. So this will give us a lot of feedback. Is our money being invested at the right place or not? So we can develop, any companies can develop a very robust attribution model, and which is based on metaverse data driven attribution model. And there's a lot of scope on monetization of that. There's a lot of scope of IP related monetization. So there's a, right now this industry, metaverse as an industry, is driven by a lot of hardware and software. So the hardwares, they are very bulky right now. So can they be miniaturized? I mean, there's a lot of scope of creating new low cost, I mean, maybe new formats of metaverse platform, which can be a lot, which can give a lot of IP. So there can be a lot of intellectual property, right, driven monetization that can happen in the metaverse. And we can also not only get our own IP done, but we can also create a lot of partner IP done. For example, we have IP for a good software. So we can partner with a company which has got very good IP in the hardware, and we can take their license and we can form a very good ecosystem. So there's a lot of scope for monetization on an IP side, on an intellectual property side, which is very less explored on a metaverse platform. So as we talk about a lot of monetization effects which are there on the metaverse platform, there's a lot of challenges that come in terms of monetization. One is the network effect. So why Facebook or Uber or Ola or these virtual platforms, they grew very fast as that because there were network effect, and a lot many people join, many companies join, many consumers join. But that thing has not happened in the metaverse platform, mainly because it has not got a mass adoption, because the hardware, there's an investment to hardware, there's investment to the software, and there's a high price of the VR AR handsets. And if the prices come down, then that can be taken care of. Many of the privacy rules are still not in place as far as the metaverse is concerned. There's no global protocol is not there. So those are the areas where there can be a lot of research. What should be maybe a policy framework, a global protocol, which should be implemented as far as the metaverse platform is concerned. Still 5G is catching up, and the speed of the network would also decide the adoption of the network. So what is the future of metaverse? What is something which is not there in the metaverse and might come maybe 5 years down the line, or might come in the maybe next one decade? One of the things that I foresee coming is that royalty for users. So if you go and use metaverse and say, suppose you work there 40 minutes or play a game for 1 hour, you'll be paid a royalty for that. So you're paid a royalty for your time. It is something like I go and surf a website. So right now, maybe I go and surf on Google. So Google get paid to their AdWords program. There's something like that metaverse platform will pay the users. And then gradually there will be a lot of trading of those monetized hours. So if I've got a monetized hours of 1 hour, I can trade it within my network. There you will also see that there's a lot of mass adoption of NFTs, blockchain, and crypto, and that will also fuel the use of metaverse in the coming time. You'll also see there's a lot of double-blind, high top management interviews happening. For example, there's a case where there's a president of a university who went to, as he joined within a year or so, he went for an interview at another university, and the management of this university came to know, and then there was an issue. So there are a lot of top management jobs which people want to go and give anonymous. So a lot of consulting firms will arise those interviews in the metaverse platform, but till the results out, till the person is selected, his identity would not be disclosed. And these kind of networks are going to come in the coming days in the metaverse platform, which are not there. So which is another use of an anonymity platform. So gradually we'll see that metaverse will get more real and pervasive. So before I conclude, so these are the key takeaways when we talked about what is the power of a 3D data, how can we monetize it, and how cannot we only use the data of our platform, but we can also use the data of our collaborative partner, so that we can further segment it better. We also talked about the power of anonymity, how that can be used in a healthcare, hospitality, counseling. real estate, how can we monetize real estate? We also talked about that how industrial metaverse and gamification is a huge area. Power experimentation, NFTs, and contextual advertising is a big piece which can be taken forward. Attribution model is one which is going to come up in a big way in the coming times on the metaverse platforms. IP is a one piece which is totally unexplored. If you look at metaverse, intellectual property, as far as the hardware is concerned, software is concerned, as far as the platform building is concerned, so there's a lot of scope which is not explored in literature, which is not explored in practice, and there's a huge scope there. So overall, it's a very promising perspective is there, and that is from my side. And thank you very much, Dr. Vinod, and over to you.
Thank you so much for such a comprehensive, I would say, presentation. We've covered a lot of aspects regarding monetizing on Metaverse. So probably it was very informative for me as well. So before we, go to Dr. Anabel, I would like to ask, Metaverse uh, will become a cluttered space. I mean, when there'll be a lot of advertisements, like you talked about billboards, uh, will those be customized in the Metaverse platform? Because I've not seen that, at least on the Second Life. They are, I think, very static ones, and how the engagement will happen with them, and how the engagement will be measured, right? Impression, I think, being say a metric, right, is not well regarded in the uh, uh, actual world, right? So, what is your take on that?
So thank you, Vinod. So it's a great question. Can I close my slide and then
Yeah,
maybe
sure,
answer?
sir. Please, please.
Okay. So let me just. So it is closed now, or it is still there?
No, it's your screen is still visible to us.
Okay. So,
Now, I think
yeah.
it stopped. Yeah, please, sir.
Okay. Right. So yeah. So that's a great question. And so what will happen is that as I said, the metaverse is something like a real world, and as the companies will on board and a lot of consumers will come, it will become a very cluttered place. So you'll have people who are premium customers; they will not be shown in ad. But those who are not premium customer, they may be shown an ad. So and again, the similar format will form, but these ads will also can be very customized. So today, whatever ads we are seeing, they are very contextual, and they are very relevant ads are being shown. And those ads are going to give you coupons. They are going to give you some points, some advantage. So maybe it is expected that people are not going to complain about that.
Right, right. And second one would be, can we expect like a publisher and advertiser? So we have like affiliate networks, right? So same will gonna grow in times to come. The affiliate networks and affiliate marketing, how that will gonna be monetized on? How do you see and visualize that? How that will be happening on Metaverse platform?
Yes, again, that is a great question. So affiliate marketing is going to grow multiple fold here. And because the data that we are getting is very rich, and that will also fuel a lot of affiliate marketing, and more affiliate marketers should be interested to be there. And since it is a bigger platform, and there are more revenue opportunities, so the affiliate marketing would be really relevant, and they will see more and more affiliate marketing joining in this quest.
So thank you for taking my questions, and it's now I'll like to invite Dr. Anabel to take questions from the audience. Please, over
Thank you
to you.
very much, Dr. Kumar and Professor Pandey. It was fascinating that you took us through all the possible ways of monetizing metaverse, and very important when you were talking about the challenges is about the network effect. So yes, we know that at the moment is very challenging, and everybody is just piloting what it will become the metaverse, and hence why it's so important that we are having these discussions, because we need to prevent some of the previous experience we have when these technologies are developing. And actually, from our participants, we have the first question that is actually emphasizing about these predecessors of the metaverse, the more specific social media. We know that nobody took it seriously. It was just for entertainment. And suddenly it was not entertainment, it was business. And it is a huge business nowadays, but we have the adverse effects and anonymity. That was one of the issues that you were presenting as a big advantage. I agree with our participant, Effing Robin, that it's a big issue, especially because there are many negative effects about this. So let's assume that we have the network effects, that the handsets are not expensive, that we have masses of people in the metaverse. How we are going to prevent having all these nightmares that we've been having with the social media, well-being, bullying, etc., in the metaverse? What is your view on that?
Thank you, Dr. Anabel. That's a great question. And there have been a lot of incidences earlier, and as the metaverse is maturing, so they are also learning and they are also creating a lot of strong security protocols. So all the metaverse players, they are creating, like there is a geofencing. So nobody, for example, I and Vinod are there, so I cannot go and handshake him. So until he allows me to handshake him. So and then so there are a lot of check and balances with the companies as they're maturing and as they're learning, and as they are trying to put those security protocols. And that is why there would be a requirement of a global protocol which should be followed by every player in the network. Like something we have HTTPS, how internet is very much regulated, very much safe, made safe, because there are certain protocols which are being followed, and there's a governing body. So similarly, like some kind of a protocol has to be built. But as of now, as far this bullying is concerned or other incidents are concerned, already a lot of safeguards has been put in, where you can just as a administrator, you can allow people to get in the house. For example, you are in decentral land and you are in a property, so the people should have a code to enter into a property. Nobody can trespass, so there is a code. And there are a lot of security protocols. So only people who are invited, they can come into a party. And that is why I talked about admission fees, sponsorship fees. So those kind of check and balances are there, but it's still these are bigger questions, and maybe there will be need for a common protocol. But at a very base level, companies have taken already those kind of protocols into place, and the players which are taking those protocols into place, they are more popular than players who are not taking those protocols in the metaverse.
Yeah, I agree that the global aspect is very important, because we know that there is an issue at the moment with all the privacy concerns, as you mentioned as well, and this is extending regardless the technology that organizations are using. So brands now have the responsibility to comply not only to the traditional media they are using of way of communication, but social media or any media that they are using, including AI systems or metaverse. And that is an interesting, at least here in the UK, we know that there is a big regulation coming in terms of how this is going to be applying, because regardless the technology, data protection is one of the priorities in order to develop trust and in order to get the engagement that is needed at the level of brand organizations. If brands cannot gain that trust from their consumers, then the engagement decrease. So I just want to know if you have any further discussions about the privacy issues around the metaverse.
Yes, yes. So in a way, you answered that privacy is a big issue, and still it is not fully taken care of by companies. So one piece is that the companies who is hosting that event, or who is the owner of that metaverse platform in which the user is engaged, say Roblox or any say Decentraland or Sandbox, or say Nike. I'm going to a Nike property. So it is the onus of the brand which is where I'm going, what security protocols, so what kind of features that they have. So for example, if you take the social media, there's a very strong social listening which happens by the brands. So if anybody writes negative, immediately it is deleted. So they listen very, there's a very strong social listening 24/7. Similarly, on the Metaverse platform, the owner of the property, so he should have a very strong privacy, securities, and other protocols so that those are not being compromised. But at a very high scale, this has to be merged with the policy, regulation, deterrence.
Yes, and I think especially because this is our last seminar, I would like to make the point that there is the need of further research that incorporates into all the ethical and privacy issues into all these contexts, because we were talking about retailing, healthcare, hospitality, finance, and every sector will be different, but all those sectors need the analysis before developing all the solutions and all the face-to-face, all the metaverse interactions to start happening, to have something in reflection about what are the implications. You mentioned, and there is a question that is following about the use of avatars, the anonymity, the safe words, and this is pretty much related also to the aspect about the digital identity of people, how we are doing. And you mentioned in your presentation how important is to consider the impact this will have in human relationships. We have noticed, my old generation, we despair with young generations all the time in their mobiles, but for them it's actually the most normal thing to do. Is they don't see the problem, and they don't have to, because that's what the stage they've been living on. But then now we are fostering the metaverse. What is going to happen with all these human interaction? So that human part, I would like to hear a little bit more from you, if possible, please.
Yes. So again, that's a great question, and with no straight answers. But actually, what is going to happen is that as going forward, what I envisage is that there will be some anchor to know who that person is. I mean, maybe not with the company, maybe with the regulator. So ultimately, somewhere down the line, a regulator will come in where there will be some kind of identity, which after many layers, if anything happens, that can be read. The other thing is that again, the metaverse site where he's visiting and where he's allowed to get into, he will have some kind of his digital identity, maybe some kind of a trace, maybe not so not maybe which part of the country, and some deterrent had to be built in. Maybe a user fee would be there, so that user fee is taken away. So it cannot be eliminated, but some kind of a deterrent fee can be put in, that if anybody has come in, so in some kind of when it's monetized and some kind of fee is there, so that can be a deterrent.
Fantastic. And I think I have one, there is no more questions in the chat, but I have one more final question for you, because you've been talking about the contextual advertising, and definitely advertising is going to be a big thing for the metaverse. And the context and monetizing the data that is coming in 3D ways. Can you tell us a little bit about the attribution? In social media, we have huge nightmares because consumers maybe see something on social media, but they don't click on there. They don't trust maybe the platform. They go to the laptop and go straight to the website. So how the attribution of model you foresee it will be for the metaverse?
Thank you. That's a great question, Anabel. So attribution is a big piece that is going to come on metaverse. Still, we don't have attribution models for metaverse. We have attribution models on the social media, and you think you as you told, there are a lot of problems because attribution models, they're being built by the data that we get. So attribution tells us that which are the platform, which are the websites where the traffic is coming, where the maximum people they are coming and buying, or where the maximum people are coming and engaging. So, but in the case of Metaverse, because you will get a 3D data, you'll get a three-dimensional data, a behavioral data also, and you'll also get more information about the user. So you can build in more finer attribution models. And if you're able to find a more robust attribution model, because the data quality is much granular, so your attribution models are more precise. So you are able to give more contextual advertisement. And because you're getting more contextual advertisement, you're getting more returns, more engagement. And so more and more players are going to use those attribution models, and more companies and firms are going to invest into advertisement, because we are doing the right advertisement, because your attribution model is right. So that is going to be a big piece, getting the right attribution model. So the key research question is that how do you develop a sound attribution model on a metaverse, which doesn't
Fantastic.
exist?
Well, big challenge, especially with all the movement around not using data for attribution models and all these kind of things, but super interesting. Thank you very much, Professor Pandey, for such a wonderful seminar. And I hand over to Dr. Kumar, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anabel. While you were discussing, one thing was crossing my mind that uh, platform when get mature, they think of charging not to see advertisements. That can be other way of monetizing probably on Metaverse. That can be deliberated probably. Yeah. So now I'm elated to inform all of you that we have now new leadership at Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune. Professor Shrirang Altekar, who is also an esteemed alumni, has now taken over the reins of SIBM-Pune in the capacity of director. So I'd like to extend a wholehearted welcome to Professor Altekar for giving concluding remarks for our seminar series, please. Sir, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Vinod. First and foremost, let me congratulate Professor Pandey. It was an outstanding presentation, and I really, really enjoyed it. And my sincere thanks to both you as well as Dr. Anabel. I think, the questions that were asked, both by Dr. Anabel as well as Dr. Vinod, I think they made very, very interesting hearing as far as I am concerned. So congratulations. And I think, the time spent on this seminar has been well worth it. So first and foremost, my apologies for being dressed in a t-shirt. Actually, we have broken up for the Diwali vacation. So from this evening, so I've gone into casual mode. Yeah, so first, and I'd like to wish you all a very, very happy Diwali wherever you are, and hope that the next year goes very, very good and healthy for you. I just wanted to say one thing. I completely agree with all of you, that more research needs to be conducted out there. And one point that has always struck me is how relevant is this as far as the rural market is concerned, especially in a country like India, where digital penetration and internet speeds are not exactly what we have in urban markets. So what could be, the way forward for marketeers as far as this is concerned? Now, I think this could be a topic of research, and I would like Professor Pandey's reaction to this. This is where rural consumers, I'll talk specifically about consumers, I'm not talking about customers, but who rely more on their five senses rather than digital. So how would you say, what would be the way forward as far as this is concerned?
It's a great. This is a question that never crossed my mind also.
Yeah.
But as you say, rural consumers, they are very, very. We undermine them, and they are very intelligent. Now they are having 4G, 3G, and many of them they are connected to mobile, and so they will also be engaging on these platforms as the cost will come down, and their data would be very, very useful, because in a country like India, 60% is still rural masses. So there's a huge untapped market. And if we are able to provide them services as per their requirement, as per their use, where they see value. So, and the consumer will be only engaging if he sees value. So if we are able to create value for them in terms of services, experience, products, and the pricing of the product, and the kind of experience that and we incentivize them for using that, then they will get huge insight. And if we are not able to do that, then we are not able to really able to capture the real insight. Even my attribution model will not be right. So great point, sir.
Actually, one of the, I would say the earliest precursors of this would have been the ITC e-job pulse, which did precisely what you said. Yeah, so I think, that this is something that marketeers really need to look at. And I think this is a wonderful topic. And I really think that we should, though this is officially the last seminar, but I really think we should carry this series forward. And I would love to have all the participants here again. One thing I promise you is that SIBM Pune will continue with this series. And I would definitely want to invite Professor Pandey. I would love to have you on our campus and whoever wants to visit. SIBM's doors are always open. So thank you so much for spending your time this evening. I think it was a wonderful, wonderful discussion, and I think we can look forward to several more going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for giving including remarks and asking a very interesting question which never crossed our mind as well. So we'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to Professor Neeraj Pandey for gracing the event with his valuable insights during this insightful seminar. It was really very comprehensive. So I'd like to express my heartfelt thanks to Professor Yogesh Dwivedi, Dr. Laurie Hughes, and Professor Ramakrishnan Raman for conceiving the idea of the seminar series and providing us this exceptional platform to delve into this contemporary theme of emerging perspective on the metaverse. A special thanks to all our esteemed guests who have joined us from various parts of the world, contributing to enriching discussions today. Thank you for all those questions. Lastly, I would like to express my appreciation to Mr. Rajesh and his team for unwavering IT support for ensuring the smooth functioning of this event. Thank you all for your participation today. We eagerly anticipate your presence in the next seminar series as well. So the details of the same will be posted on LinkedIn and other social media handles of SIBM Pune. Until then, wish you a wonderful time ahead. Thank you once again, Professor Altekar and Dr. Anabel and Professor Neeraj Pandey.